All types of natural disasters are part of the Earth's cycle, but there are some nations that are more prone to natural disasters than others. Today, we are going to take a close look at that. The world is a changing system, and with that change comes natural disasters. Natural disasters are defined as an impact on human society after some sort of natural hazard. There are many types of natural hazards, including but not limited to hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, floods, wildfires, and prolonged droughts. Unfortunately, these hazards bring along death and destruction, especially to poor regions that are underdeveloped. But which nations in the world are the most susceptible to natural disasters? In this video, we are going to explore the top 5 nations most at risk for natural disasters. The factors taken into consideration are not just physical, as some nations have more natural disasters per capita than the 5 mentioned here. The video takes into consideration both physical and human factors. The human factors are a criterion because typically poor and unstable nations are harmed further by natural disasters. Before we begin the countdown, be sure to subscribe to my channel, Our World, Our Planet, Our Home, if you enjoy videos like this. Regular YouTube videos premiere every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and shorts premiere every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, let's get started. Fifth on the list of most prone nations to natural disasters is Bangladesh. The nation of Bangladesh is a little over 57,000 square miles in size, comparable to Illinois. But Bangladesh has nearly 170 million people, more than 14 times the population of Illinois. And the population keeps growing since the country is a stage 2 transitional nation with high birth rates and lowering death rates. These demographic statistics are one of the major reasons why Bangladesh places on the top 5 list for natural disasters. Physically, Bangladesh is very flat, with an average elevation of less than 100 feet. The only exceptions are in northern areas bordering northeastern India and Myanmar, where the elevation is higher, with the highest peak being 3,491 feet. Its unique location is troublesome, since it's between the Bay of Bengal to the south and the very tall Himalayas to the north. With that said, flooding risk can come from both directions, with Indian Ocean cyclones creating flooding rains and storm surge, and discharge from upstream rivers creating flooding risk. Tropical cyclones frequently are a risk for Bangladesh, and many of them have been deadly. The 1970 Bola cyclone was the deadliest cyclone in Bangladesh's history, killing between 300,000 to 500,000 people. Most of the deaths were from storm surge and flooding. Other tropical cyclones have caused thousands of more deaths in recent years. In addition, in hilly areas, landslides are common and cause additional problems. A problem that is making natural disaster risk worse is river erosion from overdevelopment, as the population continues to increase. The combination of low human development and physical location is what creates worrying issues for Bangladesh. Coming in at 4th on the list is Japan. Unlike Bangladesh, Japan is a post-industrial, highly developed nation with a strong infrastructure. So in terms of preparedness, Japan ranks high. However, geographically, the nation is situated in a precarious location. Geologically, it's located on the western side of the Pacific Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire is an area encircling the Pacific Ocean from New Zealand to South America, where 90% of all earthquakes occur and 75% of all volcanoes are. Japan is no stranger to both. The country is at the intersection of several plates, including the Eurasian Plate, the Philippine Plate, and the Pacific Plate. Thus, many plate boundaries are within Japan or close by, and all of them are convergent plate boundaries which compress with each other and create a high risk of earthquakes, volcanoes, and possible tsunamis. With earthquakes, it's not uncommon to feel some sort of earthquake every week in Japan, and while most are minor, a few are severe. The good news is that virtually all buildings and infrastructure in Japan is retrofitted with engineering technologies to limit damage. Even with high magnitude earthquakes, most buildings withstand the force, saving lives and property. Stratovolcanoes, a violent type of volcano associated with convergent boundaries, are common in Japan, with the most notable being Mount Fuji, located 50 miles southwest of Tokyo. Another major seismic risk is tsunamis. One that was very deadly was the 2011 Japanese tsunami, which was caused by a major earthquake 50 miles east of Japan. Unfortunately, tsunamis are as quick as airplanes and the wave reached the coastline in a matter of minutes, killing 20,000 people. Still, Japan is one of the most prepared countries for dealing with tsunamis by having early warning systems and seawalls to protect the coastline. In addition to geological issues, Japan is prone to meteorological ones, including Pacific typhoons. Since it's on the western side of the warm Pacific Ocean, typhoons develop south and east of the island, and with the Coriolis effect, curve that direction. When they do, these storms can have sustained winds over 100 miles an hour and create high storm surges and flooding rains. Overall, Japan has a very high risk of multiple types of natural disasters, but since it's a highly developed nation, it can deal with them better than lesser developed nations. The United States ranks third on the list of most natural disaster-prone nations. And the reason is simply that it's a physically large nation and sees many different types of natural disasters. Geologically, the west coast of the U.S. is on the eastern side of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Washington and Oregon sit atop a subduction zone where the Juan de Fuca Plate sinks below the North American Plate, creating the volcanically active Cascade Mountains. Mount St. Helens, an active stratovolcano, erupted in May of 1980 and was the worst U.S. eruption of the last century. Also, other active volcanoes such as Mount Rainier outside of Seattle and Mount Hood outside of Portland are at risk of erupting. Further down the coast, California is on the San Andreas Fault, a transform boundary separating the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate. Geologists say that California will likely see a high-magnitude earthquake in this century. California and many western states are also prime areas for intense wildfires during the late summer and fall. And during the winter wet season, California sees many landslides. Further east, in the Midwest, tornadoes and supercell thunderstorms are common in states located in Tornado Alley, including Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. In fact, 75% of worldwide tornadoes happen exclusively in the United States, and not just in Tornado Alley, but as far east as the Northeast and Southeast. The same area, especially near the banks of the Mississippi River, is prone to flooding rainstorms. The 1993 Mississippi River flood was one of the worst to occur in the last half-century. Heading to the Atlantic coast and southeast Gulf Coast, hurricanes and tropical storms are common during the Atlantic hurricane season, which runs from June 1st to November 30th, and peaks on September 10th when ocean waters are at their warmest. Many of these hurricanes are deadly and costly. Hurricane Katrina, which happened in August 2005, caused nearly 2,000 direct deaths and cost an estimated $150 billion. In 2017 alone, Hurricane Irma, Harvey, and Maria cost around $100 billion each. Irma devastated many eastern Caribbean islands and did considerable damage to Florida. Hurricane Harvey caused massive flooding in Texas, especially in the Houston metropolitan area, and Hurricane Maria ravaged Puerto Rico and caused long-term island-wide power outages. Finally, during the winter months, the eastern half of the U.S. is very susceptible to ice and snowstorms. Nor'easters, powerful extratropical storms, inflict many issues on northeastern states, including crippling blizzards. The U.S. ranks third because of the wide range of disasters the nation sees. Still, it's a highly developed country that is better suited to dealing with natural disasters than lesser developed nations. Second on the list is another Asian nation which is an island, the Philippines. Demographically, the Philippines is a stage 3 industrialized nation which is starting to see lowering birth rates and low death rates, but is still internally growing. The 2023 population is around 110 million, and many urban cities, such as Manila and Quezon City, are extremely dense. Economically, the nation is in better shape than before, but there are still widespread socioeconomic issues. Physically, the Philippines has numerous natural disaster-related issues. Geologically, it's on the southwestern side of the Pacific Ring of Fire, so earthquakes are quite common, and stratovolcanoes are numerous, including Mount Pinatubo, which had a large eruption in 1991, killing hundreds of people. Tsunamis are also a risk, since its location within the Pacific Ocean makes the island nation susceptible to them. Meteorologically, being situated in the western Pacific Ocean, the Philippines is in a high-risk area for typhoons. In 2013, Typhoon Haiyan was recorded as being the strongest typhoon on record, with an extremely low barometric pressure of 895 millibars. Unfortunately, the typhoon went directly over the Philippines and created a lot of destruction and resulted in over 6,000 deaths. On average, the Philippines sees 19 typhoons a year. Directly and indirectly, typhoons and monsoonal rains can cause major flooding, and in mountainous areas, landslides. Other than these disasters, the Philippines sometimes can get prolonged droughts, particularly during an El Nino pattern in the Pacific Ocean, which reverses weather patterns for the western and eastern Pacific coast. This in turn creates a warmer and wetter meteorological conditions for South America and a drier meteorological condition for Southeast Asia. In summary, a combination of both physical and human geographical factors is the reason why the Philippines is second. We've made it to number 1, and the nation at number 1 has a very troubling history, and unfortunately natural disasters add more insult to injury. The nation most inflicted by natural disasters is Haiti, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. In terms of demographics, Haiti is a stage 2 transitioning nation with high birth rates and low death rates, contributing to internal population increases. However, economic conditions, political instability, and a high rate of disease inflict the nation, and natural disasters of all kinds are rampant. In terms of location, Haiti is on the western side of the island of Hispaniola, with the richer and more stable Dominican Republic on the eastern side. The island of Hispaniola is on a transformed plate boundary between the North American plate and the Caribbean plate. A transformed boundary is a type of boundary where two plates slide past each other, and since there is no convection, volcanoes are absent. But transformed boundaries are still responsible for creating high-magnitude earthquakes, and Haiti is no stranger to them. In January of 2010, a magnitude 7 earthquake hit Haiti. The epicenter was 16 miles west of Port-au-Prince, the capital and largest city. Unfortunately, many buildings in the city and surrounding areas collapsed because of the lack of strict building codes. This resulted in the deaths of between 100,000 and 300,000 people and the displacement of over 1 million people. Directly, Port-au-Prince was severely damaged and altered by the earthquake, and afterwards a large humanitarian crisis began. Many displaced Haitians emigrated out of the country because of the poor conditions, and ones that stayed were inflicted with many hardships, including a cholera outbreak which killed nearly 11,000 people from 2010 to 2019. Not only does geological natural disasters inflict Haiti, so do meteorological ones. Haiti, like other Caribbean islands, is in the crosshairs of the Atlantic hurricane belt, and many storms pass over the island. The most recent major one was Hurricane Matthew in 2016, which passed over the country as a Category 4 hurricane and killed hundreds. This event also made the cholera outbreak worse. And because Haiti is a hilly and mountainous nation, landslides are very common and add more to the despair. The situation for Haiti is bleak right now. For one, they are at risk for more natural disasters, and at the same time, the government is in chaos. After the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse, the nation collapsed governmentally, and right afterwards, Haiti suffered from another major earthquake, killing thousands. Currently, gang violence is rampant, and there's no real law and order. This is further going to negatively impact Haiti and leave the nation severely unprepared for future natural disasters. Worldwide, natural disasters will continue to affect humans. Thus, we have to prepare for them the best way we can. This involves creating disaster preparedness plans on a governmental level. Generally, high developed nations have these plans in place, and while lesser developed nations may have some protocols, they are most likely not as advanced. And in nations such as Haiti, plans may be non-existent with an overturned government. This will make matters only worse there and in other unstable nations. Do you agree with this list? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching my video. Remember to tune in for full-length videos every Wednesday at 2 p.m. and shorts every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Until next time!